before those trucking contracts will be finalized.
Thank you.
We came tonight prepared for several of our new interim board members to speak to specific pieces of a memo we sent you earlier. So each of us will be very concise in less than 3 minutes, but we have 5 of us that are going to are going to follow one another to speak to it.
Okay, let's do this. So first state your name.
Okay, Joshua Martin.
Okay, got that out of the way.
Okay.
There's going to be 5 total, and what do you want us to do? Do you want us to do 3 minutes each, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so the whole one neighborhood representative concept, right?
At least for us.
Okay.
We appreciate your accommodation of that. And I also brought written copies. We sent these in past the deadline to get to the clerk, so I didn't know if I could submit these written copies of the memo.
You can, and she will pass them around. That is fine. All right, so the 5 of you, I assume you know who you are, and you're going to just keep coming forward until all 5 of you are done speaking. Okay, ready?
And my time is short, but I really want to thank everybody who's been part of this dialogue with our neighborhood, and I really appreciate Jay's words and Evelyn's presentation, so I wanted to make sure that you guys knew. We really appreciate that. My name is Joshua Martin, as I said. I live in East West Asheville on Beaver Street with my wife and 3 very young children, and I'm one of the new interim board members of the East West Asheville Neighborhood Association, also called UWANA. We have now evolved to identify our boundaries as the French Broad River to the east and south, and the 240 interstate to the north and west, and we still have to work with Bisbee Association on how that fits into it and stuff. I love living in East West Asheville. I feel so extremely lucky to live in this neighborhood for so many reasons, all of the incredible, creative, good people that I've met in this process even. It's really just an amazing place to live with a lot of passionate people who are committed to an even better tomorrow. Just yesterday I was riding around the neighborhood with my 5-year-old on a bike ride and just had the best time and really, really was grateful to live in that area. I feel really lucky to raise them there, and I feel called to participate in order to keep it safe and healthy for them. UWANA's first meeting was in August 2012 at our neighbor Dan and Lori's house at a place they call Almost a Farm. And it was fitting, since for the first few months of all this we were kind of almost a group. But now it's kind of an ironic name because here we are with lots of good process, but almost a solution. So for our part, over the last few months, UWANA has put in the hard work and taken the steps to become a fully realized neighborhood organization for long-term advocacy and service to the neighborhood, and we hope tonight that City Council will hear our concerns and use its power to move towards a more fully realized solution for the industrial scale truck traffic of this development. We started all this in August because we were still surprised with the big news of a new factory moving into our little neighborhood, and we had lots of questions. I work professionally in the field of corporate social responsibility advocacy. I'm familiar with New Belgium's credentials, and I know that they're the real deal in that regard, and they're among the leaders, and so I'm excited about them as a company. But this big factory in our little neighborhood and all that it brings with it definitely brought it close to home. So we organized our neighborhood, because we were not at these first community meetings. The neighborhood most impacted was not at the table, and we wanted to have a voice, so we got organized. We started speaking about our main concern about this 24/7 truck traffic on what is our de facto main street in East West Asheville, our gathering place. And it was clear to us, as it was clear to the Planning and Zoning Commission, that Hayward Road was, that this was the wrong direction to go for Hayward Road. We're really grateful to the work of the West Asheville Business Association, their work on the Hayward Corridor Plan, and the draft plan states, I quote, "Hayward Road has retained more of its original scale and has community support to strengthen its place as a pedestrian-oriented mixed-use district. It is on this historic roadway that the community now thrives and seeks its future potential." We're historically overlooked as a neighborhood and have pretty limited infrastructure.
Okay, we're gonna, all right.
Okay, and I appreciate listening. We don't have 100% consensus in our neighborhood, but I appreciate you listening to all voices and our official statement you've received. Ava.
Hi, I'm Ava Carr. I live on Brownwood Avenue and have been there for 20 years. The overriding sentiment that I've heard from my neighbors is that we're excited to have New Belgium come, but we can't have a slew of semi-trucks on Hayward Road. Traffic in our area, because we're bounded by the interstate and the river, we only have 6 connection points with the rest of the city. 3 of those are adjacent to the New Belgium site. The other 3 are the Amboy Road Bridge, Haywood Road, and State Street, where it goes under 240. Haywood's just too vital for our connections to lose. The other issues of using Haywood for trucks, many of our businesses have pull-in parking that requires backing out onto Haywood Road to leave them. We have 15 city bus stops between Craven and I-240 access ramps. We just went from 1 hour bus service to half hour. The bus is talking about now moving one trunk line up to 15-minute intervals next year. We're the most used line, it may be us. Every time the bus stops, all of the traffic stops. We also have between 4 and 8 public school bus stops on that route. Kathy mentioned worried about kids. We have them standing there on the side of the road. This route at Meacham's Curve goes around Wiggles Freight Plate Preschool. It's 2 blocks from Hall Fletcher Elementary School, and it passes the Asheville Preschool at the 240 ramp. It's just not compatible with truck use.
Maybe, I think you just need to place the document under it and then, well, let's see magic. Oh, sorry.
Good evening. My name is Rich Lee. I live on Deaver Street, about a half mile from the brewery side. I welcome New Belgium to the neighborhood, and along with my fellow board members, we urge the approval of the site plan with Kathy's recommendations. I've been asked by my fellow board members to talk about the truck numbers on your traffic impact studies, which should be on your screen.
Can you scoot it over just a little?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of these have been described as a minimal impact, so I'd like to talk about that and the impact on our neighborhoods. What we have here are hourly tallies from about 2/3 of the way down through that report. I just folded them over so that they could all show up on one page. And the first thing you see here is all these zeros. Basically from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., Haywood Road, for all practical purposes, is not a truck route, not as Hanover Street either. Whether you believe that Haywood will see a doubling in truck traffic due to New Belgium or tripling, quadrupling, the fact of the matter is that once they begin their 24-hour operation in year 5, they're essentially infinitely increasing the volume of truck traffic on nights and weekends when people are home. They'll be the only ones on the road. The second thing you notice are these stretches from 7 to 9 in the morning and 2 to 4 in the afternoon, which are consistent and consistently higher than the rest of the hours. They're about a little over half of the truck hits counted. This test is supposed to rule out school buses, but anybody that lives on Haywood Road knows these are school buses. Actually, for the last 3 of these high volume periods, I've been out on the road at Riverview, in Haywood County. I've seen in those 6 hours a total of 5 semi-trucks. I should have seen somewhere closer to 60. I have seen a volume of school buses consistent with these numbers here. So I don't know how school buses are being folded into the results somehow, but I don't see how the report came up with its results otherwise. Without these hours, New Belgium's trucks will increase the truck traffic on our street by about 4-fold or a little over. This is a considerable impact for a single user. And the Next River Arts District factory is already on our minds. When it only doubles truck traffic on our road, at what point, without a real viable solution, does a minimal impact become maximal? Again, I welcome New Belgium. Sorry for the tension, guys. Please approve the site plan and the radical improvements that will get us to a long-term viable solution. Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor, council members, audience. Good night.
Hello, council members. Thank you for hearing our voice. As a new community,
Tell us your
my
name.
name is Lucius Wilson. I own 42 Howard Street, and I'm a restaurant operator. I've worked with New Belgium with beer dinners and I've volunteered with them in the clips of faith. And so I have confidence that, as a community, this is a project that we will be able to do successfully. I think where the community of Iwana has concerns is just making sure that the details are really attended to. The specific detail that I would like to talk to is the turn at Hanover and Haywood, and not necessarily the truck traffic for 2022 or the future truck traffic, because I do feel with community involvement that we will be able to solve those issues. But more so the construction truck traffic, which hasn't really been talked to, and the trucks, and where a 70-foot tank is going to go, and really the plans for the immediate, what's going to happen in the next year or two as we figure out what is the best route and the best routes for these, how we can address these issues. And the scary thing in terms of safety is thinking about a 70-foot truck trying to make that turn with a preschool across the street is definitely one of the concerns that we have. And we know that these issues will be successfully attended to, but we just wanted to, in public, mention that. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Tom Burnett. I am also a member of the interim board. It is in West Asheville that I bought my first house, became a father, began my career as an engineer. Over the last 12 years, I've watched East-West Asheville grow from a corridor identified with prostitution to a community with a sense of pride. I have worked with many others on a variety of projects in East-West Asheville, including traffic calming, sidewalks, bus school speeds, a neighborhood playground, and traffic improvements on Beecham's Curve. Continuing this tradition, we come to you as concerned citizens who want to find solutions that help our community and grow and prosper. Truck traffic on Haywood Road is a personal issue for me. My daughter wants to use this route to bike to Asheville Middle School. After the Asheville Planning and Zoning Commission recently proposed to take 70% of New Belgium truck traffic off of Haywood Road, the city began to work with us and the surrounding communities to find an acceptable alternative route for New Belgium trucks. This group of stakeholders quickly converged on Riverside Drive as the solution. In order to make this route feasible, improvements would be needed at the intersection of Craven Street and Riverside Drive. Additional improvements would be needed to provide more clearance at the Norfolk and Southern Railroad Trust. A majority of the members of our community support the Riverside North solution for truck traffic. Over 400 people, over 450 at this point, have signed a petition giving their support. Many members of groups outside of East-West Asheville have also endorsed this solution, including members of West End Cleveland Avenue neighborhood, River Arts District Business Association, the West Asheville Business Association, city staff, and importantly, New Belgium. Given this overwhelming support, we also need this strong commitment of City Council to make the solution a reality. We also respectfully request that City Council consider the following community needs for improved traffic safety. 1, expedite the engineering at the intersection of Craven Street and Riverside Drive, as was mentioned earlier, to allow one-bodied short trucks to safely turn there. 2, expedite the engineering of misaligned sewer grates along here road that are creating bicycle hazards. 3, direct staff to develop sign plans with community input for a complete streets design for Haywood Road from Beecham's Curve to 240. 4, direct staff to study and propose pedestrian safety improvements for the neighborhoods off of Waynesville Avenue. As a growing community, the majority of the members of East-West Asheville neighborhood welcome New Belgium in our midst. We do realize that the presence of a new industry will cause a great deal of change to our community. Some of it will be difficult. One sentence. Despite these difficulties, we hope that we all can come together to find solutions that lead to a more livable, walkable, and likable community.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Stuart Green. I represent the Indian community, but I'm also I'm a second-generation Asheville native, and probably the only person in this room that's never had a beer. So when I speak in support of a brewery, I hope that you'll understand what I'm doing. This has been a very transparent and open process. Done business in Asheville all my life. My family has. Mr. Davis used to do business with my father, and it's just been it's been a really good opportunity living in Asheville. One of the things that I found that I'm really excited about this project, and the people in my community are excited about this project, is that this is a huge economic boom for the area. This is revitalizing an area that has sat fallow since the 80s. I can remember when there was action in Stockyard when we sold cattle there, but there has been nothing there except crime and just dereliction since then. One of the things is the realities of doing business in Asheville. Having done that all my life, is Asheville has access issues. We built along the rivers. We can't go straight up the mountains, and we can only tunnel through and carve through so much. I remember them cutting through the mountain for the Bowcatcher Pass. That was a huge project, and so there's some places you simply can't get to from here in Asheville. It's just the way it is. And one of the things that I've seen the city doing, and New Belgium doing, and these communities doing, is working hard to try to improve these access issues. It's a natural challenge for doing business in our area. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I've heard Kathy's recommendation, I've read over it, but we all need to remember is that Haywood Road is what it is. It's a business route. And it's not only that, it's a federally designated business route. And the other thing is, when we do into consideration, is the river is what it is. It's zoned commercial, and has been so as long as I can remember. And so to see so many people, I want to compliment New Belgium and the city for coming together and doing stuff like that. The proposal for the dual sidewalks all the way up to Beecham's curve. That's something I never thought I would see in my lifetime. Or doing the protected bike route. It's an amazing project. And so having talked with other folks in my area and been a part of this process, we really want to recommend that you guys adopt this as proposed, the proposal that Kathy made, because this is just an amazing project, and we're really excited about seeing what that's going to do for our area and our economy long term. Is it not only provides an immediate economic turn, but also brings other businesses to the area. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we can.
Hello, my name is Rachel Larson, and I'm currently serving as the vice chair on WECAN. And I appreciate City Council and Vice Mayor and everybody here tonight giving everyone some time to speak.
Do you have 3 folks that are
I
needing
do.
time to raise your hand, please, if
I'm
you're...
gonna try to keep it short, but raise your
1,
hands.
2, come on. 3. Okay, you got it.
Okay. WECAN is primarily interested in seeing our neighborhood develop as laid out in our master plan, including more affordable infill development, safer pedestrian access and routes, multimodal transit, and ecological restoration, enhancing the public experience. We really appreciate New Belgium's interest in a centrally located site adjacent to the French Broad River. Our neighborhood was established when the cotton mills built housing for its workers, creating an early sustainable community in the heart of Asheville. The creation of new jobs in the middle of Asheville's residential core that will be accessible through multiple modes of transit is a huge benefit to our community and city. While many residents are excited about the potential of this project, many others are quite concerned about the unknown impacts, including but not limited to the scale of the facility, increased traffic, odor issues, and noise. This is an opportunity to address existing deficiencies in infrastructure that will only be magnified by the increased traffic to the New Belgium Brewery due to truck, employee, and visitor traffic. We are seeking a commitment from NCDOT and the city to prioritize developing Haywood Road as a complement to Kleeman Avenue, serving as a continuous multimodal mixed-use corridor as laid out in the Haywood Road corridor plan. And I think someone already mentioned, extending these improvements past Beecham's Curve all the way to I-240. We support the city staff recommendations to council with a few adjustments. We think it's important to broaden language to complete a feasibility study that identifies how to provide freight vehicle access to I-240 in the shortest possible route without crossing through neighborhood corridors. And of course, this includes the Riverside North route and prioritizing improvements to Craven Street Bridge and the RATIP funding. And if and when those changes are made to that intersection, we hope that pedestrian and bicycle usage is also considered when and how that is expanded. That would also potentially go up to Robert Street. Let's see, I think changing the Klingman extension and Robert Street to one-way is not currently a priority in the neighborhood, and we do not currently see the need for it. This area will not be seeing increased truck traffic. We have no problem studying this option, but we'd like to have more feedback and discussion with our community if the study moves forward. And finally, we'd like to ask the city to consider new approaches to understanding and communicating with the impacted neighborhoods earlier in the process as other projects such as New Belgium come to the table. We welcome New Belgium to our neighborhood, and it's clear that they take being part of the community very seriously. We're grateful for the extensive efforts they're making to ensure open communication, solve problems creatively, and generate high-quality jobs for those who need them. We also appreciate the time, effort, and sensitivity that the city has put forth in being responsive to neighborhood concerns. We look forward to proactive and increased collaboration along all parties as the project moves forward, and as others come down the line to create healthy, prosperous, and a truly sustainable neighborhood.
And I am speaking on behalf of Ralph. It will not be more than 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if you could say what that stands for the everyone who's not.
Yes, RABA stands for the River Hearts District Business Association, and we've been actively involved in meetings and conversations regarding New Belgium's truck traffic and routing. We appreciate our inclusion by city staff in the neighborhood discussions, as these changes will have significant effect on our future as a business community. We understand that this is a complex situation to sort out, and we have great respect for the time and effort that all the parties have put in order to find the best possible solutions. At this point, we support the following recommendations by staff. Using the Haywood route as an immediate route while actively pursuing routes with less impact for the future. We feel that going forward with existing plans to make Haywood Road more bike and pedestrian friendly can bring a positive to this situation. We are aware our neighborhood will be impacted by traffic via Enway Road and Robert Street. We also support exploring the option of lowering the grade underneath the Norfolk Southern Railroad crossing at Riverside Drive. We feel this option actually may have the greatest impact on our neighborhood's future viability to bring additional commerce to the area. At this time, we do not support the planning and zoning's recommendation to split the brewery traffic 3070 on Haywood. We feel this is unrealistic as a condition on New Belgium. In closing, we will continue to monitor this situation and appreciate the city's attention and investment in our neighborhood. RADBA also looks forward to future partnering with the city of Asheville in order to support, encourage, and strengthen our neighborhood's independent, creative, commerce, and spirit. And with that being said, we look forward to working with New Belgium also. So that's all we have from RADBA. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and council members. My name is Alice Oglesby. I'm a member of the West Asheville Business Association. And I've been attending the small leadership meetings for the past few months, and I've been incredibly impressed by the neighborhood passion and the dedication of city staff in New Belgium to find solutions that work for everybody. I think what I would like to mention is a couple things just to keep in mind. We already heard and we know many of the wonderful things that New Belgium brings to the area. I would remind you of that they have been instrumental in getting this community dialogue and growth happening. They're supporting multimodal transportation infrastructure, financing our greenways, providing environmental cleanup by purposely choosing a brownfield site, which otherwise may have remained a hazard for many more years, sponsorship of community events, providing meaningful jobs and training, and dedication to stream and river health. I think having a larger scale, community-minded business partner in our area will enable us to complete projects that have been on our collective wish list for some time. As you know, the majority of businesses in West Asheville are extremely small, family-owned businesses, and it's sometimes difficult for us to have the wherewithal to support infrastructure changes or major funding sources. So I think we're embracing the fact that we have a partner that can help with that. I'd like to mention a few things that have not been mentioned. And there is, I think it's wonderful what Kathy has put forth and her staff, and I think New Belgium has mentioned that they would be willing to use lower height trucks, which could be a fantastic remedy for the truck traffic. What I would encourage, and this speaks to what Councilman Smith had noted, was that crosswalks, I think we have a commitment from DOT when they were putting in the infrastructure changes on Hayward Road to ensure that the crosswalks are brought up to code, and we would request that that code includes conditions for the handicapped as well as the blind. We do have citizens in our area that are challenged at this point to cross safely. We would also have a request in that the rail height as Hayward Road crosses over I-240 be raised. And I realize that this is not under your purview. I just would like that to be noted as requests that have been put forth for DOT to handle. I would again say thank you to everybody for their participation. I think that the Business Association and small businesses are excited to working with New Belgium, and I salute them for helping to solve problems and support our community.
Members of City Council, I am Rod Hudgens, President of the Council of Independent Business Owners. Thank you for the opportunity to address you regarding the New Belgium project. Having served on the Asheville Planning and Zoning Commission in the past, I remember the commission being presented with many different plans for the properties where New Belgium will locate. From what I have witnessed in the meetings and various media articles, the proposed New Belgium operation fits all requirements of what the city, its planners, and previous city councils wanted for that area. New Belgium offers greenways, advanced site development, environmental cleanup, construction jobs, community investment, and ultimately employment opportunities for many of our citizens. Not many community leaders are getting to vote on something positive for their communities as you are tonight. This project has been thoroughly reviewed by your various boards and your staff. It is your turn to approve this good project that meets and mostly exceeds the rules and standards. The Council of Independent Business Owners urges you to approve the conditional use permit for this site. Thank you.
And I'm speaking on behalf of West Asheville Watch. West Asheville is the new home of New Belgium Brewery. Many of you have probably heard that it's in the River Arts District, but it's actually located on the west bank of the French Broad River in the 28806 zip code. I would also like to say right now, for the record, I am not anti-New Belgium, although I am probably the most outspoken critic of New Belgium and the manner in which they've landed in our neighborhood, and also the city staff for how they've handled the process at this point. I just want to say that at this time last year, it was my first learning that New Belgium was probably coming to the area. It was rumored, as everybody else was hearing, and in January of 2012, I was very excited to hear that potentially the stockyards would be transformed from its current state of dilapidation into something brand new. There was lots of excitement. I actually had New Belgium ads on my refrigerator trying to manifest just to make it happen, and I followed the news daily awaiting their announcement. And in April, finally, the announcement came, and I held a party on my porch with all of my neighbors as we waited to watch the announcement down at the stockyards. There's a small place in my property that I can see the site from there. Unfortunately, the event was rained out. But we still had our little neighborhood party, and we're very excited about New Belgium entering into the neighborhood. And then July 25th came around, and even more good news was here. I had learned that the mini storage that I'd been staring at out of my back porch for 13 years was also part of the New Belgium site. It was going to be demolished, and the event lawn, the creamiest part of New Belgium's new development, was right in my backyard. I couldn't be happier. My property values went well up beyond the bubble bursting, and everything at 18 Reynolds Road was grand. Until the point at the July 25th presentation when somebody asked about the truck traffic, and at the time Jen Vervier said 60 trucks, and at that point there was a hush in the room. And then hearkening back to the process by which this happened, New Belgium did come to Asheville, met with business leaders, the EDC, and at one point, I believe it was Ben Teague, the executive director of the Economic Development Commission, rented a trolley to host New Belgium workers and host an event going up and down the French Broad River, along with Jack Cecil of Biltmore Farms and Ricky Silver of Silver Line Plastics, to talk about the community's vision for the riverfront. It would have been nice if there had been some West Asheville representatives along on that trolley trip. From the newspaper report in April that the Asheville Citizen-Times reported on the announcement of the day before, but it was the New Belgium warehouse supervisor's first look at the old WNC livestock market on Craven Street. He worried about how to get New Belgium's trucks down to the river and back to the interstate. There was a moment when everyone was holding their breath, Teague recalled. But transportation turned out not to be a deal breaker. New Belgium came up with the plans for access off the Haywood Road corridor near Interstate 240 as well as Amboy Road. This was New Belgium's plan as to how they would get their trucks in and out of this site. And then the EDC commissioned Mattern and Craig to study traffic, and lo and behold, we have a perfect truck route waiting for you. It's Haywood Road. The backup plan is Amboy Road. So now we have Plan A, as presented by New Belgium, which is to put in a factory with 50 88-foot tanks that reach to the level of the Smoky Park Bridge, Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, a 77-foot malt tower, which is about the same height as the bridge as well. And we are going to require 52 trucks a day in and 52 trucks a day back out for 104 truck trips through West Asheville. That's Plan A. What we have for Plan A 2.0 is to ask the city for a commitment to study the feasibility of using Riverside Drive North. We just heard that the likelihood of changing the radius at the Craven Street Bridge is probably pretty slim. And we still need a feasibility study to figure out how to lower this bridge that's been vastly studied in the last year of looking at this project. We just heard once again that the Riverside, the trestle over Riverside Drive is 13 feet tall. It says so right on the bridge. It says 13 feet high. And we need 13 feet 6 of clearance to get these trucks underneath it. We're just dying for the 6 inches of pavement. How do we know that the bridge is 13 feet high? It says it on the bridge. So I went out and I measured it in 10 different places. And all corners underneath the bridge from the road to the bottom of the deck and in the center. The bridge is 13 feet 4 inches at its shallowest point, and it goes all the way to 13 feet 11 inches. So we're this far away, but we need another year of feasibility to figure out if we can take the road back down to a previously existing level. That doesn't sound like very good planning to me. So in the process of looking at New Belgium and their existence here on Craven Street, I've also heard about the historical precedents that this has always been an industrial area. Well, it turns out there's never been an industrial factory on the west bank of the French Broad River. And most of it's ever been used for is a weigh station for tobacco provided by farmers and then, yes, shipped out on trucks. But there hasn't been a factory of this scale in the river district at all, let alone on the west-hand side of the river. So I look back to 1925. I used that date, one, because my house actually was built there, and two, it was an easy resource for maps. with the Sanborn maps available at the library. They show all the parcels in East-West Asheville and West Asheville with every structure on it. The level of residential density was quite a lot lower in 1925. There were 7 more connecting streets between East-West Asheville and West-West Asheville. There was no East-West Asheville. East-West Asheville was defined by the severance of I-240 cutting through all of West Asheville. So there used to be 7 more roads that everybody could use to get from one side of West Asheville to the other. But now we have 2 ways. Multimodal is happening because we only have 2 roads and we have to share them with everybody. If you want to drive a car or a bicycle or a motorcycle or a North Carolina liquorcycle or walk or push a stroller or drive a truck, you have to use West Asheville. You have to use Haywood Road to get from one side of town to another. So we're looking at a community that has far less access than it did in 1925 at the height of industrial operations, which was followed 4 years later by 1929, the Great Depression, and the collapse of industry in our area. The collapse of industry created blight in the area, such as the stockyards, and it has been in the recent years that development has grown into this blighted area because industry has left, not because it's been there. I've even heard one council person suggest that once the factory is built, this will encourage residential development. I don't know of any any real estate agent who's ever taken somebody on a house tour. Could you please show me a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in a great school district and make sure that it's really close to a factory? This is folly. It's not good for the type of growth, the slow, steady growth that we've seen in West Asheville over the last few decades. West Asheville used to be called Worst Asheville. We all know that it used to be called Worst Asheville, but it's seen a slow renaissance, and it hasn't had anything to do with industrial growth. It has been small mom-and-pop shop businesses that exist on Haywood Road now, which are going to be threatened by 104 daily truck trips through town. Once upon a time, West Asheville was a neighborhood that you wanted to move away from. Now it is a neighborhood that we want to move to. And I don't want to see the growth and the progress that has grown slowly and steadily and surely over the last 10, 15, 20 years to be turned backwards. I also think that this site in the River Arts District is one of Asheville's few gateways. We can't choose where our gateways are. There's only a couple of them. And as we come into town, we get to look at this, what's now a horrible stockyard, but pretty soon it'll be New Belgium's best form of advertising. Why are we giving away our best form of advertising? This is Asheville's best form of advertising. I totally think that industry has a place in the community. Of course we need to have it. It drives our financial stability, all of that kind of stuff. But I also feel like a house has to have a toilet, and you don't put your toilet on the front porch because that just doesn't make any sense. So I would like to see the city adopt more sensible approaches to growth and recognize that the law of unintended consequences could very well rear its ugly head. And this factory will be here forever. It's not going to go away, and everybody who signs off on it will have your name on it. So I would ask you to think of it quite well. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much for the opportunity to speak. Thanks everyone for hanging out. It's been a fun process. It always is when we have these contentious issues like this. My name is Scott Carana, and I'm a resident of Waynesville Avenue. I've lived in the house that I live in for the last 6 years now. And one of the things that hasn't really been a topic of conversation as it relates specifically to this issue is the increased traffic that's going to come along with visitors and with employees, and also cut-through traffic. And sadly, I feel that Waynesville Avenue is going to be the obvious place for people to go to cut through, and a lot of folks are going to use that route. I think I'd first like to start with the improvements that DOT is making at Beecham's Curve. I think that's going to be a big part of the issue. As soon as you put a light in there and people feel like they're going to be backed up, they're going to look for a way through. And I don't know if everybody here has had the opportunity to travel down Waynesville Avenue, but it's a clear cut through, cuts from Craven all the way up to right by Gas Up and Harvest Records. So we're going to see an increased traffic there. And then when you look at the increased traffic that we're going to get from tourists coming to check out the facility, people are going to look at a lot of ways to cut through there. as a route to get to the facility, as well as employees. If I was a smart employee and lived in West Asheville, I would not deal with the lights on Haywood Road. I would cut right down to Waynesville, especially as you saw, the Waynesville exit on the Craven comes out right near employee parking. So those are issues I think that are really important to consider. I first of all want to thank my neighbors and neighborhood advocates that have been really vigilant on this issue. What we've seen as improvements from the city over the last year have been great. One is stop signs have been put in at Brownwood Avenue to address issues. And then two, out of nowhere last week, or I noticed them about a week and a half ago, no truck signs have been put up, no truck traffic signs. Now, as I understood, since I've been here for the long haul, since earlier, the Harris Teeter thing, the way that was described to me, those may not actually prevent trucks from ever having to go down there in case of an emergency. I doubt that they will, but I urge everybody on City Council to take the opportunity to travel down Waynesville Avenue and see what kind of a nightmare it will be for increased traffic on that road. I'm not suggesting that truck traffic is going to use that road, but increased car traffic on that road is really bad. There are a lot of blind curves on the road. I live on one myself. I live at the corner of Tremont Circle and Waynesville. I basically gun it every time I leave my driveway now, as it is, totally serious. The city has come in and put in a mirror there for Tremont, which I can kind of use to get out. But it's a bad road. There are no sidewalks. People use that road all the time to walk because they don't feel safe on Haywood. And on Haywood, as has already been suggested, there's only sidewalks on one side of the road. They're on the far side, so everybody on our side basically prefers to walk up Waynesville because there's a lot less traffic. So I think those are issues that are really important to take into consideration. There are ways that it could be mitigated. The possibility exists that you can look at it in one-ways and also into more stop signs on the road. Thanks for your consideration. Also worth noting, a lot of bikes use Waynesville Avenue, so something to consider.
All right, is there anyone else?
Members of council, my name is Clark Duncan, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the Economic Development Coalition. We are very proud partners of the City of Asheville, Buncombe County, and the Asheville Chamber in pursuing our common goals of economic development. I'll be brief. Driving this partnership is the belief that business exists to serve a larger purpose, to build and strengthen community. And the arrival of New Belgium Brewing will create a significant and measurable public benefit. The employee-owned company has projected 154 direct new jobs with full benefits. In addition, the brewery will support an additional 260 induced and indirect jobs among local businesses, generating altogether over $18 million in new annual labor income for families of Asheville. Together, this will generate over $30 million in city, county, state, and federal taxes funding critical public investment in our community and in our state. Perhaps more important than all of that, though, than the economic impact is the social impact. This company is well known for a value system that has been extolled already here tonight. This company has demonstrated these values with a real commitment in time and money and human resources that's already self-evident in our philanthropic communities, in our greenway communities, and our workforce development communities. These values are also manifest in the site plan we've seen tonight, whose virtues have already been extolled. I'll close with this. I'd like to commend city leadership and staff, all of the area neighborhood associations who are represented here tonight, and the company for months of hard work and commitment to finding common ground to integrate New Belgium into the fabric of the larger community of Asheville. Thank you very much. I urge your support.
Thank you. Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Good evening, council. My name is Mike Sewell. I'm representing Asheville on Bikes. On behalf of Asheville on Bikes, I'm here to endorse the staff recommendation to council. The cycling community supports the feasibility study to route traffic along Riverside Road and is thrilled by New Belgium's continued investment in our city's multimodal transportation options. Investing in the bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure along Haywood, Beecham's Curve, moves multimodal transportation forward. Connectivity is the issue. The Riverside feasibility study continues to open the door to further economic development in the River Arts District. We appreciate the city staff, New Belgium, all the West Asheville neighborhood and business organizations who work together, sometimes at odds, but we work together to maximize upon our city's quality of life, economic development, and of course, our multimodal transportation options. Together, we're moving the city forward. This is a proud moment for our city. There are other moments to be had, as our infrastructure challenges still need to be met. I'd like to draw attention to the Haywood Road pedestrian and bicycle audit recently completed by the Asheville Bicycle Head and Task Force. The audit clearly demonstrates that Haywood Street falls short of meeting ADA compliance and makes travel along the corridor dangerous for all modes. The audit has several specific examples of infrastructure deficiencies. The city, neighborhood, and business associations have worked together for the recommendations before you tonight. The city and New Belgium are contributing real dollars to advance our infrastructure along Haywood Road to Beecham's Curve. This is a great private-public partnership, but there remains a potential partner. The North Carolina Department of Transportation, who ultimately is responsible for Haywood Road, is a state-owned road. In order to implement a complete street policy along Haywood Road, we need NCDOT support and investment. Asheville on Bikes applauds the current recommendations and encourages the city to request from NCDOT Division 13's annual budget money for safety spot improvements as outlined in the Haywood Road Bicycle Safety Audit. NCDOT passed a complete street policy 4 years ago. It's time that we see complete streets in our city. They are our partners. Neighborhoods, business, and city government work to resolve transportation hurdles, and now it's time for NCDOT to join that conversation. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Karen Craig-Nolan. I'm Executive Director of Riverlink, and I sat here tonight and listened to all of this, and I am reminded that history begins when you got there, and it ends when you leave. And when we started the Riverfront Revitalization Project and started doing the first planning back in 1989, we didn't even dare dream that we could attract a company like New Belgium. It was beyond the beyond. This whole community turned out and poured out their hearts about what they would like to see with the river. There was a bond referendum that was defeated in 1989 with the moniker Yuck. The idea that this river was considered an open sewer and has come this far is an incredibly exciting moment for us. The Wilma Dykeman Plan envisioned and detailed this kind of development along the river, mixed use, mixed income, multimodal. We've demonstrated that on Illinois Road. We have 4.5 miles now of continuous greenway. It's the most used facilities in the city. When we did the first park at French Broad River Park, in the first greenway in Asheville, people told us, why would you do something over West Asheville? It was called West Asheville in 1990. It was not a thought that people would go there. I remember we put the dog park there because we said that's something people will do day and night. They'll walk the dogs whether it's raining or snowing. Working with New Belgium, how many companies do we have that come in and give right away $50,000 to our greenway effort, another $50,000 to our Asheville on Bikes, another $50,000 for our sidewalks, engage in the kind of conversation, dialogue, discussion, community meetings, transparency that we've seen here. We are proud to have raised $400,000 so that they can exceed the city's limits and requirements for stormwater and stream restoration. That money came from the Clean Water Trust Fund, and we are glad that we've been able to do that. Riverlink has been able to do that. So we are proud to support New Belgium as a partner, and whatever problems are coming, what better partner to have than New Belgium that steps up to the plate, puts their money where their mouth is, takes the effort, and takes a site that I personally have shown to 100 people, all of whom said, you must be crazy. It is really wonderful to have a company that comes in and seeks out a site that is really an eyesore It was an old city landfill, and when we started this project, that was still open. And the cows and the livestock auction was still operating. It was a $40 million annual business. Went away. But that landfill was still open. So we've come a long way. Thank you.